Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Dynamite. We started off with a recap video of the Full Gear pay-per-view, but we do start off with the Hurt Syndicate in the ring. We do have the group feeling salty about Swerve not joining the group and him having to get a ass whooping of a lifetime from Bobby Lashley, and MVP is saying, hey, when we give out cards and you just basically reject our invitation to the Hurt Syndicate, that's what happened to you. What Bobby ended up doing to Swerve. And then he goes on to say that Swerve is not a dangerous man in AEW, it's Bobby Lashley. Now, we do have Shelton, who's already geared up to be in the first match against Pastor Briscoe. This is for the Continental Classic. Shelton is both these guys are in the Blue League. So, really great matchup between the two of them. First time ever of these two guys going against each other one-on-one. And I did enjoy this match. However, the ending of this match, once again a power bomb. I'm not really feeling this as a finisher for Shelton. I wish we could do a little bit more. He was dominating here, but not as dominating as he was against his other opponents so far. Pastor Briscoe is a really hard hitting brawler, so it wasn't so easy for Shelton, but Shelton ends up taking the win. The right guy took the win. Now after this, we do have CEO who comes out. And long story short, she was going to fire Camille, but Camille said, "Beach, I quit." I don't understand what was the point of them moving so quickly with this. Why did they have to move so quickly with this story? Why can't things just take its time to play out? This is way too quick. Now, Camille is still walking around with a sling. It could be possible that we may end up seeing these two go at it at World's End. I'm not sure what the situation is. It's still a little bit too early to tell, but Camille ends up walking away. I'm not surprised because, they've been moving a little bit quickly with this. I just wish that wasn't the case. After this, we do have Chris Jericho versus Ishii Part 2. We didn't like it the first time, but they gave it to us the second time. And I will say, Big Bill and Brian Keith, they end up coming out there. Brian Keith is holding a house plant that Big Bill says is going to be a tree. A house plant is not going to be a tree, Big Bill. This match right here, I didn't pay too much attention to it. I really just feel when Chris Jericho is around, the energy in the room is just sucked up. And I don't know. I just don't care anymore when it comes to Chris Jericho. And I also will say that for this match being for the Ring of Honor World title, this does nothing for the title. This does nothing for Ring of Honor. If y'all gonna do this, why not put it on Ring of Honor? Why not build some of the story up on AEW TV so that people can be like, all right, this is an interesting story. Let me purchase the Honor Club for the month and see what's going on. And maybe you guys will get more people to, be subscribers of the Honor Club. I don't see how this helps in any way. Chris Jericho ends up retaining the title with the Judas effect. But this was a hard-hitting match. Both of these guys were bleeding. Ishii had like a really red, big bruise across his cheek. And honestly, I just don't care. After this, Renee Paquette is backstage with Swerve Strickland. Swerve is feeling salty about taking the loss, and he says that he had never had anyone put their hands on him like the way Bobby Lashley did at Full Gear. And while he's talking, Max Caster, dumbass, is walking by and he's laughing. And then Swerve's like, "Hold on, partner, who are you laughing at? What's going on?" And then Max Caster starts his little rap. And his little rap that he's talking about burning house. And that sets Swerve off because you already know that house caught on fire. And he ends up putting a beat down on Max Caster. Prince Nana, where were you to stomp out Max Caster as well? I would have definitely got a couple of hits in if it was me. I'm not surprised if they end up having these two guys go against each other. If that's the case, I'm all right with it. Max Caster, we're bored with him. Put him with something with Swerve, I guess, and see what you get out of it. I personally don't care. But remember, Max Caster did get a card from the Hurt Syndicate. Why? No clue. But they might end up playing in with something. So I'll keep my eye out on that. All right, so after this, we have Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he introduces Hangman Adam Page. When Hangman comes out, there's smoke, and then the lights that they're using for Hangman really gives an illusion of like a fiery look. I don't know what it was, but it looked pretty cool. Really nice attention to detail on that. He gets into the ring. Long story short, tells Schiavone he might as well get his ass up out of here because he don't need anybody to hold a microphone for him. So apparently, Hangman and our stepdaddy Christian had some type of agreement that was supposed to help him take the win when he's supposed to cash in a little money in the bank clipboard, and obviously that didn't work out. But he's obviously upset about this because he ended up, doing what he was supposed to do as part of his part of the deal, but our stepdaddy did not end up winning that title. Now he's upset. He's saying that no one else should be holding the title but him. And while he's talking about that, here comes Jay White, who come out there. He came out there with a shirt instead of them abs out. And then he talks about how he's beaten Hangman 5 times, how he's a fucking loser, and that he should be the one to be able to get his hands on the world title. Now, as he's making his way towards the ring, before he can even get up the apron, here is Pac, who grabbed his leg and thrown his ass out. Willie Yuta came in there, started beating up on Hangman. And then Marina comes out there. She's beating up on them too. Now, while she's beating up on them, this is funny because nobody's saying a word. Marina's putting her hands on the guys. The second that Jay White snatched her up to put her in a Blade Runner, the whole crowd started losing and shit like, oh, no, 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 Jay, don't do that. Jay, don't do that. She's a woman. And I was just like, so y'all never said nothing about Marina put her hands on anybody. But the second she's about to get her ass whooped is when everybody has something to say. Very interesting. Now, when that ends up happening, Moxley came for the save, and Marina didn't get the Blade Runner. And then from there, Marina ended up snatching up Jay White, put him in a mother's milk submission. Basically, it's just a front-facing choke, and he faded from that. They continued to beat him up and lay his ass out in the ring, which was very, very interesting. Oh yeah, they even hit him with a briefcase and everything, and they end up just leaving like it was nothing, which was interesting because that also had a setup for Claudio to come out because his match with Ricochet's left. They are in the Gold League, and this was a really great match. I enjoyed this. I don't think we've ever seen Ricochet versus Claudio before. I could be wrong, but I don't remember ever seeing them in the ring before. And so I will say this. Claudio is very dominating here, but Ricochet is able to defend himself. And for anybody who is watching like the international feeds, they have some weird chants going on, including bald is beautiful, because both these guys are bald, which was so fucking funny to me. Claudio, really good job. He ends up taking the win here, which I kind of didn't expect. I was thinking more of I wasn't surprised that Claudio would dominate Ricochet. I was just thinking that Ricochet was going to come against all odds and end up taking the win. But that didn't end up happening. Claudio takes a win with a lariat. That's my only complaint. A lariat after what they did tonight. I felt like finishers are supposed to be. I mean, people are supposed to remember the end of the match for a reason. These finishers are supposed to wrap the whole thing up. And when you just go with a lariat after everything, it just felt like what the hell are we doing? And I have a little bit more to say about this lariat business in a second. Now, before our next match, we do have Adam Cole with the Kingdom who come out, and it's the same motherfucking promo again about MJF. Like, word for word, like, they're just like, we're just gonna go out there, we're gonna say the same shit we said last week. I'm fucking over it. Kyle O'Reilly came out there and said the same shit he said last week too, and I was just like, why y'all wasting TV time? Why are we wasting TV time? We know we're gonna get one match for them women, put the girls on or something, because this right here was just nothing at all. Now, while they're over here getting into the same promo that they've been doing the past few weeks, here is Maxwell on the screen. He's playing the piano. Our man is so talented. He just have like a whole bunch of things he's good at. MJF, he's just so dreamy. Now, while MJF is playing the piano, he let everybody know that whatever's going on, whatever these guys think that they got going on with him is over. He's done and over with Adam Cole and the whole kingdom and everything. And to be honest, that right there was music to my ears because I'm over it. Now, he goes on to say that he's going to be in the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royale, and whoever wins that ends up winning the Dynamite Diamond Ring, which he has won consecutively for 5 fucking years. Now, he is basically letting everybody know that he's going to be in that. And then here comes Adam Cole, who said, I'm going to be in it too. And then Kyle O'Reilly said, well, I'm going to be in it too. And I'm just like, oh, I thought we were done with this. I don't care about whatever they're doing with Max. I was kind of hoping that when Max said that it was done, that they would just make it to be done. And unfortunately, it wasn't. And once he gets off the screen, then Kyle O'Reilly just ends up walking away like he did last week. Something about it is just like, y'all reaching for a story, and it's part of it is there, but I don't think that the fans are really connecting to this, because y'all kind of like put it into the story a couple of times but still keep bringing it back. I'm fucking over it. Up next, we had the ladies. We had the International Women's Cup qualifying match. For those of you who don't know, Wrestle Dynasty pay-per-view will be in Japan January 5th. We're going to be having a cross-promotional event where it's AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Stardom, and CMLL. So wrestlers from all those promotions will be performing on the show in Japan January 5th. And there's a match where we have women from all four promotions to be in like a four-way match, to be like, I don't know, the best women between all promotions. And this right here, we started off with Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata. The other match that they're going to have in a couple of days is Serena Deeb versus Willow Nightingale. I'm pretty sure Willow Nightingale winning this whole motherfucking thing. I'm over it. But anyway, Jamie Hayter, our girl Queen Aminata have a really great match. At some point, they get really, really aggressive with each other, and I love to see that. I love when the girls go out there and just say, "Hey, we can do whatever the guys do. We're pretty, but we don't mind getting hurt," and I appreciate that. However, Jamie Hayter takes the win with a haterade. A haterade is a lariat. You mean to tell me we're gonna have two matches back to back with a lariat for a win? And then, as aggressive as the girls were in that match, a lariat is enough to take the win? I'm not liking it. I'm not feeling it. Jamie Hayter, she advances on, to the semifinals. However, something about it is just not enough for me. I wish we would have gotten a chance to see more of Jamie these past few months. It would be also cool to see Jamie Hayter take the win for this whole International Women's Cup, to be able to be representing AEW at the final, at the Wrestle Dynasty pay-per-view. But we'll see what ends up happening with that. After she takes the win, the lights cut off, and we see a spotlight near the stage and a little bit of smoke, and we're waiting to see who it is. Julia Hart does not come out, but I'm sure that's where they're going with it. We'll see what happens with that. I did not like how they set that whole thing up. Something about it was just a little bit of an afterthought, especially after these really cool video packages that we've been getting with Julia Hart. This whole little thing could have been much better than what it was. So now after this, we do have an interview with Mina Shirakawa with Renee Paquette. Long story short, she said, well, we seen that Mariah had betrayed Toni Storm, so why wouldn't I think that she would betray me too? And I was just like, girl, what are we doing? What are we talking about here? And while she's talking, Mariah May actually comes behind and attack her and start beating her with the championship belt, which I did like. They're having a match in 2 weeks at Winter is Coming, which is just a Dynamite episode. And I don't know. I thought we was gonna say this for the pay-per-view, maybe. This is another thing when it comes to the women, especially the women, they're rushing another fucking storyline. Why they rush this, I have no clue. But already we're gonna get a match with these two in another 2 weeks. And honestly, I wish that wasn't the case. Just let things play out when it comes to these girls, especially these titles. We only got 2 titles, and they barely get a couple of minutes of TV time anyway. And I just feel like sometimes they're just not putting the most that they can into these ladies. I'm not feeling them rushing these storylines when it comes to these titles. Now, main event, Brody King versus Darby Allin for the billionth time, which I didn't really care for. They're in the gold lead. Darby Allin comes out there. He could barely walk to the ring. I'm not even exaggerating. He's barely walking to the ring. And this is the first time I see Darby Allin, who, as he's getting to the ring, he stops at the steel steps. I don't know if he was resting for a minute or if he was praying to the Lord that he doesn't lose his last life in this match with Brody King. And honestly, I was just like, he looks horrible. Maybe y'all should take him out of the damn tournament. They end up having this match. And Brody King, this is less than 10 minutes, by the way, for the main event, which I hate when they do shit like this. And it was really Brody pretty much killing Darby Allin on national TV. There was a part of this match where they were outside the ring, Brody goes for a cannonball and hits the cameraman too. We lose audio, we lose the live feed and everything. And I'm just like, oh, that is so sexy. I actually like that. And then from there we kind of had some audio issues or whatever. I'm gonna say this too. They were in Chicago, and Chicago was pretty quiet tonight. That right there was a little disturbing to me because Chicago usually makes a lot of noise. And like I said before, with the international feed that I use with Triller TV, they show what's happening during picture in pictures. You get to hear what's happening during picture in picture, and I hear them making noise for the commercials, but during the actual show that everyone's getting a chance to hear and see, they were pretty quiet, which is very surprising to me for Chicago. Brody King ends up taking the win, and rightfully so. So after Brody ends up beating whatever's left of Darby Allin, he was walking away. And then here comes Claudio Castagnoli with a steel chair to basically finish the job when it came to Darby Allin. Now Brody King ends up turning around and he's just like, "Well, hold on, hold on. If anybody gets to kill him, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me." So he comes in there, he stands over Darby's damn near lifeless body, and Claudio's just like, all right, I don't want that smoke. Let me leave it alone. That's also a match that's gonna come up. We're gonna have Claudio Castagnoli versus Brody King. So that's interesting that they basically left the show off with that. In terms of main event, didn't care for this. This was less than 10 minutes, and Darby Allin was hardly alive for this. I wish this could have been better. I don't even really know why Darby is in the tournament, especially in the state that he's in. And I've learned to not feel sad for Darby anymore because this is the type of shit that he likes. I wish this was a better Dynamite. I think the best match was Pastor Briscoe and Shelton Benjamin. Other than that, everything else was okay. The ladies did do a good job, but a lariat, I know that's her finisher, the haterade. But for me, I'm huge on wrestlers having multiple finishes. And one being a submission, that would be really, really great too. So for me, I didn't care too much for the haterade in terms of a finish. We got to come harder, Tony Khan. The year is closing out. Some things have to be finished in terms of a story, and some things should probably just about getting started. And some of these things I'm already over of. But we do have the Continental Classic that's going to be continuing for the rest of the month and ending at the World's End pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to that. We do have Collision and Rampage on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, which is going to be really, really interesting. And that's for anybody who didn't know. Basically, they don't want to have their shows on at the same time as a WWE PLE, which is okay with me. So don't forget to check out a Rampage and Collision. That will be earlier in the afternoon on Saturday. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be back tomorrow with a review on Ring of Honor. See you guys then. Bye.